Что эти кадры смотреть, мороз по коже, и все же. Детский сад, группа моржей, в нее всегда очередь. Готовиться начинают с лета, обливаются на улице водой, чтобы обтираться снегом, потом обратно греться. Это, правда, не в России, Житомирская область, правильно? Но и там приезжают.
So, we all know that to catch a cold, you have to catch a cold virus. And to catch a cold virus, you normally are exposed to someone else who has the illness or something that they've touched. And then you've touched your mouth or your eyes. It has to come into your body in some way and then infect your cells. So the virus will come in via whatever mode it does, via someone coughing in your face or you shaking hands with someone who's sick and then touching your mouth, and then it infects your host cell and it makes you sick, and your body responds with the symptoms of a cold. So I think it was Thomas Jefferson who first said that he thought that the reason we called it a cold and the reason colds happen so frequently when it's cold is because when it's cold, people stay in closer quarters, closer together, and you're more likely to be exposed to someone else who is sick and more likely to catch a virus from that other person or many other people. And so that was what he felt was the explanation for why we get cold when it is cold. It's more exposure to the cold virus. There are lots of stories about you being able to catch a cold because it's cold out, or you being able to catch a cold simply because you have cold hair or cold wet hair when you go to bed, or you go out in the rain and aren't wearing proper rain gear and you get wet and cold and are exposed to that sort of scenario. But a lot of scientists have taken a lot of time to disprove these theories. They've purposefully injected the cold virus into people and injected them into two different people. One person who they just put in a normal temperature room and another person who they put in an extremely cold room to see if they are more prone to catch a cold from being cold. And most of the studies have proven, or all of the studies have proven, that there doesn't seem to be a strong correlation. However, recently, our Eccles, who put forth an article about acute cooling and how it affects cold and cold symptoms in Rhinology magazine, or Rhinology journal, number 40 in 2002, and he was suggesting that because when you're exposed to acute cold, so say you went running and you were super hot and you took off all of your layers that were keeping you warm and you were refreshed, but your body temperature was exposed to some severe cold for a short amount of time, as good as that felt, your body was still dropping temperature pretty quickly. What that causes is reflex vasoconstriction in the nose and upper airways, and he theorized that this may inhibit respiratory defense and cause the onset of common cold symptoms by converting an asymptomatic viral infection into a symptomatic viral infection. And the reason he was suggesting this is because we often have viruses in our body that our body are slowly defending, and often you don't see the histemic reactions that come with it. And so he felt, and he did some studies on this, but he did not do anything that proved it absolutely. It was just his theory that there is a chance that when you go and you're exposed to cold, or you go to bed with your hair wet, or anything that would suddenly drop your body temperature, that something that already was in your body, that your body was handling fine, that your body might respond in a way that now it can't defend that anymore, and you will develop a cold. So in a way, those things will give you a cold. Granted, you already have to have the virus in your system, but they can still help give you a cold.